In a distant land where castles were made of candy floss and rivers flowed with soda pop, there lived a princess named, unlike most princesses who dreamed of handsome princes, Pixelina yearned for adventure. She longed to explore the world beyond her father's sugary kingdom. But alas, she was trapped within the confines of her tower, guarded day and night by a fearsome dragon named Sir Smokesalot. Sir Smokesalot wasn't your typical dragon. He didn't breathe fire or hoard treasure. In fact, he spent his days knitting colorful scarves and his nights watching romantic comedies. He was the kindest dragon you could ever meet, but also the laziest. So while he dozed off, it fell upon the royal wizard Merlin to keep watch. One day Pixelina approached Merlin with a proposition. "I want to see the outside world," she declared. Merlin sighed. He knew that arguing with the princess was like trying to reason with a runaway smoothie. It was pointless. "But it's so dangerous out there," he protested. "I don't want anything to happen to you." "Don't worry, Merlin," Pixelina reassured him. "I won't go alone. I'm taking Sir Smokesalot with me." And with that, she went to wake up the sleeping dragon. Now, waking a dragon from his slumber is no easy feat. They tend to get a little grumpy when rudely awoke. So Pixelina decided to play it safe by singing a lullaby. She stood at the foot of the dragon's bed and began to sing. "Sleep now, sweet dragon, dreams of candy floss. Let sugary visions fill your head." Sir Smokesalot stirred, then slowly opened one eye. "What is it, Pixelina?" he grumbled. "We're going on an adventure," she announced. "An adventure?" The dragon perked up immediately. "Oh really? Where are we going?" "To the outside worlds," said Pixel. "The world beyond our kingdom." For a moment, Sir Smokesalot looked a bit uneasy. "Are you sure about this? This world you speak of is full of danger. It's not like our cozy little kingdom here made of candy floss and lollipop trees." Pixelina nodded. "I know, but that's why I brought you, because you're the best dragon I know. You'll protect me, right?" The dragon couldn't help but melt at the princess's innocent trust in him. "Of course I'll protect you, Pixelina," he said with a warm smile. "Anything for you." And with that, they set off on their adventure together. The wizard Merlin watched them leave, shaking his head. He had a feeling this was going to be one wild ride. As Pixelina and Sir Smokesalot journeyed through the land, they encountered all sorts of strange and wonderful creatures. They met talking animals, mischievous fairies, and even a grumpy troll who demanded that they solve a riddle before he would let them pass. Luckily, Pixelina was quick-witted and managed to stump the troll, much to the amusement of the dragon, who couldn't resist making fun of the grumpy creature. Finally, after what felt like hours, though was probably only minutes in real time, they reached the edge of the kingdom. Before them lay a vast and unfamiliar landscape. It was unlike anything Pixelina had ever seen before. There were mountains that scraped the sky, forests that whispered secrets, and rivers that sparkled like diamonds. "Wow," she breathed. "It's so beautiful." Sir Smokesalot was equally impressed. "I can't believe we live in such a place," he said. "All these years I thought we were in the middle of nowhere, but we're actually in the middle of everything." As they continued their exploration, Pixelina and Sir Smokesalot stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a majestic oak tree. Its branches were gnarled and twisted, and its leaves rustled in the wind like 1,000 tiny voices. Suddenly, a group of strange figures emerged from behind the tree. They were tall and thin, and their faces were hidden under strange helmets. "Who are you?" Pixelina asked, a bit nervous. "We are the Pixel Knights," one of the figures replied in a deep voice. "And you are trespassing in the forbidden forest of Fang and Claw." "We didn't mean to intrude," Sir Smokesalot said quickly. "We were just exploring." "Exploring, eh?" The knights exchanged glances. "Well, this forest is a dangerous place," one of them said. "You should turn back while you still can." Pixelina and Sir Smokesalot thanked the knights and started to walk away. But suddenly, one of the knights stepped in front of them. "Wait," he said. "Why should we let you go? We haven't had any fun around here for ages." Another knight chuckled. "Yeah, we could use some entertainment. How about a little game of capture the flag?" Before either Pixelina or Sir Smokesalot could respond, the knights attacked. They were fast and agile, and soon Pixelina found herself surrounded. Just when she thought all hope was lost, a blur of red and blue streaked through the forest. It was Sir Smokesalot, and he was breathing fire. The knights screamed and scattered as the dragon's flames swept through the forest. With the knights distracted, Pixelina took a chance and ran as fast as she could. She didn't know where she was going, but she just kept running until she came to a small clearing. There, hidden among some bushes, was a small cottage. Pixelina knocked on the door, hoping someone would answer. And just as she knocked, the dragon appeared beside her, out of breath but unharmed. To his surprise, the door opened before he could knock, and a small figure stood in the doorway. "Can I help you?" the figure asked. Startled, Pixelina stammered. "I'm Princess Pixelina of Candy Kingdom, and this is Sir Smokes-a-Lot." There were unicorns playing in a nearby stream, griffins soaring overhead, and even a small group of pixies waving at her from inside a mushroom. House Pixelina and Sir Smokes-a-Lot were amazed. A wise old centaur who was reclining nearby explained that this was a sanctuary where all creatures, no matter how different, could come together in peace. Pixelina thanked the centaur for his hospitality and promised to return the favor someday. Then she and the dragon set off to find their way home. Meanwhile, back in the forest of Fang and Claw, the Pixel Knights were furious. They had never been outsmarted before. One of the knights suggested chasing after Pixelina and the dragon, but another stopped him. "No, we can't risk it," he said. "Those two are too unpredictable. If we chase them, who knows what trouble we'll get into." Just then, one of the knights noticed something strange. On the ground was a small blue feather, unlike any feather he had ever seen before. He picked it up and examined it closely. "This feather," he said, his eyes widening, "it's from a griffin, and griffins are only found in one place, the Sanctuary of Whispering Willows." The other knights gasped. They knew the legend of the sanctuary, a place where magic was strong and anything was possible. It was also protected by ancient laws, and anyone who trespassed would face the wrath of the forest itself. Shaken by the thought of angering such powerful magic, the knights agreed to let Pixelina and Sir Smokes-a-Lot go. News of the dragon and princess's adventure spread like wildfire through the kingdom. When King Candide Apple heard about it, he was furious. "How dare you disobey my orders?" he boomed, his voice echoing through the throne room. "I specifically told you to keep her in the tower." "I'm sorry, Your Majesty," Merlin said, bowing his head, "but I couldn't stop her. She was determined to go on this adventure." The king paced back and forth on his throne, his candy floss crown askew. "That reckless child," he muttered. "She could have been hurt." Suddenly, he stopped and turned to Merlin. "Tell me, did she make it back safely?" Merlin nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty. She's back in her tower right now." The king let out a sigh of relief. "Good, good. I was worried there for a moment." He looked out the window at the setting sun. "That princess is always getting into scrapes. I don't know what I'm going to do with her." Meanwhile, back in her tower, Pixelina was looking out her window at the sunset as well. She had a faraway look in her eyes, and Sir Smokes-a-Lot sat patiently at her feet, listening to her thoughts. "I'm glad we got to see the outside world, Sir Smokes-a-Lot," she said softly. "It's not all candy floss and lollipops, as pretty as that is." The dragon nuzzled her hand. "Me too, me too." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. They just sat there watching the sunset together. Then suddenly, Pixelina sat up straight. "You know what, Sir Smokes-a-Lot? We're gonna go on more adventures." The dragon blinked in surprise. "Really? Of course," she said with a mischievous grin. "I may be a princess, but I'm not just any princess. I'm Princess Pixelina, hero of the 3D realm." Sir Smokes-a-Lot looked at her for a moment, then he couldn't help but smile. "Well, Pixelina, hero of the 3D realm," he said, "I guess that means we're heroes too." He looked out the window at the darkening sky. "So, where to next?" From that day on, Pixelina and Sir Smokes-a-Lot became known throughout the land as the heroes of the 3D realm. They went on many more adventures, helping those in need and spreading joy wherever they went. They faced all sorts of challenges, from battling evil wizards to rescuing damsels in distress, but they always did it together, side by side. As the years passed, Pixelina grew older, but her sense of adventure never faded. She continued to explore the world beyond her kingdom, always with Sir Smokes-a-Lot by her side. And so, the legend of Princess Pixelina, hero of the 3D realm, was passed down through the ages, inspiring young adventurers everywhere to follow their dreams and never give up. After all, in the grand tapestry of life, it's often the smallest threads that make the most brilliant patterns. Who knew a little princess and her lazy dragon would become the greatest heroes of their time? But that's the thing about legends, isn't it? They often start out as simple stories whispered around campfires, tales that seem ordinary until you realize they're anything but. The end